Hello and welcome back to the Kings of Houston. I'm in good spirits today, not just because England have a game, but because I'm joined by the King himself, Steve Firth, to talk about all things royal and discuss why Houston is blue. How are you doing, Steve?
Good, Sam. How are you doing?
Good, yeah, I'm doing well. I'm excited for the football tonight, the Euros. Are you?
Yeah, should be an exciting one. I don't want to make any predictions. It's England versus Germany, so I'm going to keep quiet.
Yeah, I know. I'm exactly the same. I'm just keeping my fingers crossed, to be honest. And obviously, the soccer doesn't stop, but we're going to kick off the action by talking about our USL2 team. They had a disappointing road defeat to Little Rock last week, which meant they hadn't won in 6 games. And considering they'd been on the back of an undefeated run going back last year, it's kind of disappointing. So it's not the sort of form that's needed for the playoffs, is it?
No, we'd lost all. We drew a couple of games prior to that, and games that we thought we'd pick up points in. So that was a game that we needed some points from. Went in with a certain tactic and kind of switched off to give them a goal that we probably shouldn't have, and then when we came out in the second half, just didn't create enough chances on goal. So it was one of those days, unfortunately, where it just didn't click, and didn't make it work. So it was a bit of a downer was that one. That was where we needed some points.
Yeah, and like you said, there wasn't many chances, especially in the second half, created. Players seemed maybe a little bit flat. Do you reckon that's maybe down to a lack of confidence and belief rather than the actual ability? Because we've seen that they can play.
Yeah, I think as you go on, when you don't score goals, and you're playing in games and you don't win games that you maybe should do, I think that it does come down to a lack of confidence. And I think that the players just struggle sometimes with that confidence in front of goal, and when to pass and make the right decisions and the touch go. So yeah, I think we had that problem, and sometimes when that happens, Sam, you just got to get back to basics, and keep the ball and possess it, and just overall, just do things simple. And that's how you kind of get that back.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously, talking about boosting the confidence, we're going to move quickly on to the next game because the guys must be purring after taking a victory against their city rivals, Houston FC. And it was a goal that was slammed in quite near the end of the match as well. So there's nothing like a late goal to kind of add a sweetener to beating your rivals, does it?
No, not at all. It was one game that obviously we earmarked the 2 home games that we had left as must wins, and so we actually went into that game and actually kept the ball pretty well at the start. I thought we moved the ball around well, we possessed it, created some good chances. We could have had 2 or 3 goals in the first half. Their keeper made some great saves, and we started to look a little bit better. They came out in the second half and pressed us a little bit higher, and we kind of lost our way a little bit and couldn't get out of it. And with about 15 minutes to go, you're thinking, where's this goal coming from? We have to win. So, we changed tactics, we changed formations, moved a few personnel around just to try and create that chance. And sure enough, 3 minutes later, that chance came and we took it. And then very quickly went back to a 4-5-1 and built a brick wall in front of our goal for the last 7 minutes. So, important win. One of those games where you have to try and think of it of not what's gone on in the past, and think in the moment. And they played a little bit better in that game, and I think deserved the win.
Yeah, and I think with derby days too, especially, I think form, no matter regardless of how one team's doing or the other, form kind of goes out the window. They're playing for the pride, they're playing for the shirt. And do you think the fans made it a positive atmosphere for the Royals to push themselves and almost kind of like force that ball into the back of the net?
Yeah, there was a good turnout on Saturday, so it was a good game, and we had some fans from both teams there, which was good. But yeah, sure enough, we kept pushing and pushing, so they were really excited when they scored and went over and celebrated with the fans. That was great.
Yeah, was there many smoke bombs going off when that goal went in?
There was a couple. I saw.
Yeah, I saw a couple. I know you're not the man behind that. But the victory lifts them to fifth in the conference, and they're still in with a fighting chance of making the playoffs. They're going to have to string some positive results against some tough opponents, aren't they?
Yeah, it's a weird one at the moment. I think third, fourth, and fifth are all on 13 points, maybe. I think it actually goes to head. So we may move ahead of a few of those when it figured itself out. But yeah, it's there's a big game coming up on Wednesday, tomorrow, for me right now. That's away at Round Rock, and they're below us, so that's another must-win game. And then, obviously the last game of the season is at home to Brazos Valley, and that's another must-win game. And then they've got to go away to Mississippi and Corpus and try and pick up some points, on the road. So that's some difficult games coming up. But yeah, there's some points to be gained, and if we can pick up 7 to 9 points, where we can maybe secure a playoff spot still.
Yeah, exactly. And this kind of segues well onto the playoffs, because we're going to talk about the second part of our derby weekend, where our WPSL sides, they basically steamrolled past the Houston Aces, so our city rivals on the women's side, registering yet another 6 goals. I mean, what a fantastic result and advert for women's soccer through the Royals.
Absolutely. A great turnout. What I will say is, if you've been watching our women, is don't show up 5 minutes into the game, because you show up 5 minutes into the game, you think it's 0-0 and the 3-0 up. So they started off again amazingly, and got themselves 2 or 3 goals in the first 5 minutes. And it's infectious, right? When you're scoring goals and you get an early one, you just feel as though you're going to keep doing it. And they really kind of dominated the game, dominated the possession, pressed high up the field, got the goals they needed early, and it settled them down. And it was a good performance. And they've been excellent all season. So it was nice to be able to win that game against your rivals, win at home in front of a bumper crowd. It was 350, 400 there. So great crowd, and a great win for the women. And obviously they went away a couple of days later on the Sunday and won again away for the last game of the season. So an undefeated season with only 1 goal conceded and a lot of goals scored, I'd say. So, congratulations to them, well deserved to them and the staff. And that puts them into the playoff final, which I think is hopefully on the 17th of July. So, fingers crossed we can get a lot of people out to that game. We'll be playing what looks like Tulsa. We'll be coming down to players at Campbell Road Sports Park in the final. So exciting times.
Yeah, and like I say, we'll obviously update you guys about the times, and just to clarify all the details about that, we need as many supporters down as possible to win the conference final. But like you said, Steve, about the women, basically getting fast starts, maybe settle some nerves. But I think they got something like 48 goals this season. But something that I think goes not necessarily unnoticed, but they kind of do go about the business quietly, is the defence. Yeah, 1 goal conceded all season, like you say, must be an absolute. It must be an absolute privilege to see this team be so cohesive and not just focusing on themselves, not worried about the opposition, just doing their business.
Yeah, for sure. I think that goal we considered was a penalty as well. And it's just good all over. It's just well done to them all over the field. They're solid from goalkeeper to defense, and they're athletic. They're difficult to get past. The midfielders lock it down well. When they've got it, they retain possession. We look forward early, and we've got fast runners in behind, so we stretch the game. When we get into that final third, we've got creative players. It's a real mix of experience, athleticism, quality players, and youth, and it's worked out brilliantly. So couldn't be more proud of the women for what they've done this season.
Exactly, and like Coach Danny's, I've been speaking to him a bit this week as well. He promised me goals, and he certainly delivered on that promise. And even though if there wasn't as many goals, it was an equally professional display by going away to San Antonio Blossoms and picking up a 2-0 win, right?
Yeah, I think it's one of those where you've won the league, you've made it, you kind of take your foot off the accelerator a little bit, but at the same time they were focused and proud enough not to go there, and they wanted to make sure they won every game and they kept their streak alive. So they wanted to go and put a professional performance in. So 2-0 away from home against a good team. That was a good result.
Exactly. And obviously we just unravelled all of last week's action, and we've definitely clarified that Houston's blue. We are the pride of Houston, and we want to carry that on, especially with the men. They want to carry on this, or at least start another undefeated run. And we touched on it before. They play Corpus Christi on the road as well as Round Rock. So it's going to be a tough week for the guys, but I'm sure they'll be up for the challenge because they've only got one more home game at Campbell Road Sports Park.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like I say, focus now is on Wednesday in Round Rock. They've got to go there and get 3 points. So hopefully, the coaching staff have watched Round Rock. We've played them before. We know a little bit about them. And they've got to continue the form that they showed in that Houston Derby game and possess the ball a little bit better. and have the confidence in front of goal to put the goals in. So big game Wednesday. Hopefully it'll be live streamed so we can watch it. And yeah, let's hope for a victory there and then keep moving forward in the right direction.